A very good day to all my listeners all across the world. Welcome back to my podcast, George Nathaniel, and this is George Nathaniel for each one of you. Well, listeners, today I have a very interesting subject. It says, Reset, perform at one's best. Well, we all need to reset before we can perform at one's best. And to begin this podcast, I have a very silent but very, very strong quote. So you could listen to this quote as many times and derive multiple meanings out of it. The quote goes like this: reset the hard things about the hardest things. Give it a thought, listeners. Reset the hard things about the hardest things. And when you're talking about reset, remember there is no place for complacency, and we have to ensure that you keep up the hustle while you're growing and elevating yourself in life. So reset and perform at one's best. So looking at the podcast, what can we expect from reset and performing at one's best? Let us look at the trait of leaders. Or let us look at the trait of leadership. Now, when you look at leaders or leadership, and when you look at reset, leadership is more about valuables on a win-win situation. So when I say valuables on a win-win situation, it's about how to bring out the best in things, or how to bring out the best over that moment to get over that particular thing or that particular challenge in life. That is the meaning of reset. It's enabling the prowess to reset. It's enabling the prowess to bring out the best ability, ensuring growth, ensuring results. So when I say reset, perform at one's best, you identify a successful leader in your life. And when you identify a successful leader, you go and read his success story. Then you would understand their mechanism. You'll see in every aspect of their life, the simplest thing that they have done is reset. So when you reset, you realign, reevaluate, and you take on everything with a new approach. And like you say, or like there's a common saying all across the world, same efforts, same results. New efforts, new results. That's how you take on betterment and growth. So reset, perform at one's best, soaring over newer heights. Develop that self-confidence in you. Learn to adapt to new approaches. Take on bigger challenges and ensure to be responsible over its result. When I look at myself in terms of a reset, perform at one's best in a normal, non-professional avenue, well, I have a passion for soccer. So let me give you an example of a soccer game. So in a soccer game, the first thing that you need to do is you need to train. So when you're training, you're resetting all your muscles. Then once you're reset, once you're ready, then you can change and challenge and then take on. So we need to reset to take on challenges. And in a soccer game, you always have to show up for the ball and you need to step up the play. It's not about standing in one corner or one position waiting for the ball to come to you. You need to always show up for the ball. And you have to be in the play of things. You need to incorporate what's best for the game. You need to take control of the game with your strongest ability. And you need to understand that yes, while things are in your favor, there are times where you might lose position. So that's where you take on the challenge. That's where you show your worth. And that's where you have a turnaround in the game. So when I look at reset, perform at one's best, I would say you just need to keep aligning with your goals, aligning with your action, aligning with whatever you want to achieve in your course of life. And in all my podcasts, I talk about professional engagements, personal engagements, or contribution to anything that you're doing in life. And I keep giving you a little bit of a heads up that I call key takeaways. So when I say reset, perform at one's best, we need to understand that there are 6 approaches that we need to do. 6 very simple and 6 very performable approaches that we need to incorporate if we are talking about reset, perform at one's best. The first thing is the physical reset. So when I say physical reset, you need to be physically ready to take on that. It's not about your muscles. It's about, yes, the ability to go and face the challenge. The mental reset. You cannot be held back by failures. You need to be mentally strong and mentally prepared to take on things over new challenges, the new approach. That's what reset is all about. The emotional reset. You can't be emotionally drained. You need to be emotionally refreshed. The social reset. You can't be, I would say, you can't be socially tipped whether you would win or whether you would lose. It's about your trusting your own abilities. You need to be creative in your reset. So when I say be a creative reset, you to adapt to new learnings, incorporate new learnings. And the most important thing is you need to reset your approach. So if you are physically reset, mentally reset, emotionally reset, socially reset, and when you reset at your creative best, you will definitely reset on a new approach which will give you a new dimension to your results, to the outcome. And here once again I come back to the 2-liner that I said in the beginning of this podcast, which is a very silent but strong quote. Reset the hard thing about the hardest things. So if you have to reset the hard things about the hardest things, you keep getting better and bettering yourself. And remember, the hardest truth is to confront reality every day. You need to teach yourself to take on the toughest things, adapt to the toughest things. You need to realign the toughest challenges that you are facing. And when I say realign the toughest challenges that you're facing, you need to build for a stronger tomorrow. You need to understand the importance of building over your ability and put all the emphasis on self-dependency. And if you're able to do these 3 things, you will implement the best version of a reset and always perform at your best or one's best. And you will definitely come up with soaring results, new results, better result. And like I said, reset. There's no place for complacency. Keep up the hustle. That's what keeps you going. Take on bigger challenges. That leads to greater success. And most importantly, keep growing over results in life. So listeners, as you know, I keep my podcast very simple and just as eye-openers for each one of you. And when I come back to this podcast, reset, perform at one's best, I leave you with this 2-liner once again, which has big meaning. Reset the hard things about the hardest things. So if you were to reset the hard thing about the hardest things, you definitely go places. So yes, wishing each one of you greater success, greater prosperity, and yes, wishing you scaling newer heights in everything that you're doing in life. I hope you like listening to my podcast, George Nathaniel, which is available across all platforms. And I also have my blog website, which is called georgenathaniel.net. Come and listen, keep sharing, keep coming back to me with requests about things that I can talk about that'll help each other grow faster in life. Thank you very much and keep sharing all the wellness. This is George Nathaniel.